Hey, I'm Claire.
And I'm Janice.
And this is The X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
We are breakup coaches here to help you beat your breakup,
Heal your broken heart,
and move on to an amazing, abundant life. Welcome to another episode of X-Files and to our second guest interview. We are really stoked about this interview series, and we are excited to bring on Kristina Michaelis to the podcast today. And one of the things we're excited about is that this is our first collaboration with another podcast, Human Design Delight, who is going to be sharing this with their community as well. Human Design Delight is a collaborative podcast with 5 talented business owners who come together to talk about life and who happen to have love and curiosity for human design. So I've been appearing on their podcast as the projector of the group, and I've really, really loved it. It's a really fun podcast to listen to, a really diverse group of women. And because today we are talking about dating and human design, we decided that we would team up with them. And yeah, we appreciate you, Human Design Delight, for sharing this with your community.
Awesome. Yes. So today we are featuring Kristina. She has been using human design and astrology in her new dating life, both in the wild and on the apps. She has such an inspiring story of how she has learned after her divorce. And we're just so thrilled to have her on the podcast. We think you're going to love her. If you want to connect with her after this, you can find her at Kristina.Michaelis on Instagram. Yep. And yeah, I'm so excited to dive into this. It was such a fun chat and you're going to love it.
Yep. If you want to learn more about Kristina or Human Design Delight, we will drop both of their links in the show notes, and enjoy our chat. Hello, everyone. Welcome to X-Files podcast. We are so excited that you're here because we've got another very cool guest interview.
Yes.
Hello. Welcome, Kristina.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be open with you guys.
Ooh, we're excited for you to be open as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea here, is that we're talking to lots of different people about their breakups as well. So hopefully things that you have learned from your experience, our listeners can also absorb, and we can all be on this journey together.
I love that.
Yep. Just to give a tiny bit of context before we get started into this juicy interview. I know Kristina from, I guess you could say, a spiritual community that we're both in. And a few months back, during one of our meetings, I hope this is okay to say, she made a comment about the fact that she's newly single and that she was using her background in human design in her new dating life. And I think this might have been right before or right as Claire and I had started. And I wrote it down. I put it on our first list of people we wanted to interview because I just thought that is so interesting. People will love to hear about that. I want to hear about that.
Definitely. It's something that's helped me so much because it's a tool that I use that helps me explain myself to other people a lot easier, and then not judge myself for my own tendencies, and then not judge others as well. And knowing that types can be very different and still work together, but it's really helpful. It does so much work for you, knowing someone else's energetic type and how they function.
Oh yeah, well, totally.
Perfect. Yeah. Before we get into that though, do you want to tell us about your recent breakup? I understand that you actually went through a divorce during, I think maybe even the actual lockdown, right?
Yep. During the lockdown. So I was married. I'm really bad with timing. Everyone's always been like, how long have you guys been together? I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm done.
We're going to fact check this. So, it better be accurate.
But I was married. I think it's been like, I think we got married 4 years ago, and we're together for a year before that. And things took a turn. pretty quickly, actually, after the actual marriage,
Okay.
which was interesting to me. I almost felt like he had changed and stopped trying after that, because it was almost like, oh, I
Yeah.
have you, so then I don't have to work anymore. And that was like really hard to navigate, because you are committed on a whole nother level. I took
Yeah.
that very seriously. I'm not the type that quits anything, let alone a relationship. It makes me feel like a failure if I do. So the fact that I decided, and it was me that made the initiation to end things after many, many chances, it was just it was difficult to know like when, I'd say. So like I think, so I was going through the divorce during the pandemic. It was interesting though, he and I got a lot of closure during the pandemic, which is
Okay.
kind of ironic. But I think the distance away helped us kind of go through our own stuff, and then be able to talk about the really difficult things, like, are we sure that we want to end things? And we both said yes, for sure. And it just made it so much easier to go forward from there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
the
just
beginning was interesting.
okay. So you did get closure from conversations
Yes.
and that sort of thing.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
And it was hard because it's like, one thing I felt was that I wasn't being fought for, but later
Yeah.
down the line, I kind of realized that it's because I wasn't fighting for myself.
Oh,
And so
beautiful.
Got
it was
it.
an interesting mirror that I saw there. But I was able to have a conversation where it was like the final asking, like, are we for sure done? And it was like, yes, so it
Yeah.
helped me move on. And
Mhm.
I wasn't, it's not that I really wanted to work things out, but it was good for me to hear it from him.
Yeah. Yeah. To like relieve that feeling of
What it,
thinking that it's just you,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
knowing
Yeah,
that the
like it was
other
all of my
person.
fault. Yeah, especially being
Yeah.
the initiator, you feel like, oh, since I'm the one that made this decision, do they really feel that way?
Yeah.
And so it was really helpful for me to hear it.
Oh, I
And,
bet.
and
Yeah.
initiator being part of her human design,
Human
which
design as a
we'll
manifester.
speak about. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How is it that you had found yourself separated physically?
Yeah. So, like in our initial separation, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were having trouble, and his friend had a house, an extra room. And so we tried at first to do like half of the week together physically, and then half the week he would stay there, which I'm not
okay.
totally against, honestly. I'm like, I like my space. So it's kind of nice to do that. And then we were still a couple, we were still committed, but we were seeing each other less frequently. And
Mhm.
then things just kept snowballing, where I think the common denominator was like, I did not feel like he was showing up. And like, I
Mhm.
kept giving chances like, hey, let's go to therapy, because clearly we don't have the tools to fix this on our own, because we've been going through the same cycles over and over again. So what can we do to get extra help that are outside of ourselves? And I mentioned it, and then he was like, you find somebody. And I always felt like I was the one doing the work
Yeah.
to do that.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
you were the driving force.
yeah. And then I was like, and then I found somebody, and then it was too expensive. And then and then I found somebody that was I think it was someone that his friend went to even. So it was like trying to like level out the playing field, and then finally I was like, hey, I need you to, book this session within 1 month, because I can't handle the weird timeline thing where there was
Yeah.
nothing really happening. And so I said, I'll give you a month to make this appointment. We just have to go to one, because it would show me that you're actually trying and you want to make this work. And then a month and a half later, nothing.
Yeah.
So that's when we physically totally separated. And we
Mhm.
actually were separated for, I think, a year and a half before our final divorce.
Oh,
So
okay.
we've been separate for quite a while.
All right.
Yeah.
And then would you say you were kind of hoping that it would get worked out? Is that why you let it?
I think part of it was, I don't know if I had hope for that, but so there's a little complication with my situation, just because, so he was from Brazil.
Oh.
And so with papers, like that actually played a role. And
Got it.
it wasn't why we got married, but it served him a lot to get married. And
Yeah.
that goes back to feeling pushed too early to get married, and feeling like he was gaining so much and I wasn't, because I vocally said, I'm not ready yet. And he was like, but we need to do this because of that. And if you love me,
Got him.
then you will do that. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, gosh, I do love you. I know. Isn't it
Oh,
cringy?
that's
Like talking about it, I'm like,
true.
that's so sad, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
these things that you see later.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, tell
Yeah,
me about it.
definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's like one of the reasons, and I'm not saying that this was the situation, but when you are being manipulated, the
Mhm.
reason that it works is because it is hard to see in the moment. And you do
Absolutely.
love this person and you do want the best for them. And you're like, yeah, that does practically make sense. But I like how you guys spent so much time, you know, kind of easing, I guess, out of the relationship. Another, like, a really well-known coach, Brooke Castillo, she talked about this on
I
one
know
of her
her.
podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she said, giving each person in the relationship time to actually come to terms with the ending while you still have access to each other and you can answer those questions. And like, you know, I just liked that idea of, taking your time with the ending because,
Yeah.
you have invested in a commitment. What Just because it's not now for your whole life, you can still be like, hey, I respect this person. I'm going to take my time with the ending and doing it the right way, in a way that I'm going to feel proud of in down the road.
Absolutely. I didn't see it that way. And it happened very organically, which is very important for me as a person. It's like, it can't be
Mhm.
forced in any way. And so I think it helped us heal where I don't have resentment towards him. I see him
Yeah.
every once in a while. And,
Mhm.
we live in the same town and we'll run into each other at the store. I'm like, hey, how are you? Like, and we're totally cordial. And every once in a while, like he'll text me for, happy birthday or this or that. And there's no emotional charge to it anymore. Probably
That's
because
so
there was
awesome.
that time.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
No,
I guess
that's
that's what
amazing.
we call the closure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's like the that's the
Definition
thing that
almost.
everyone's shooting for.
Right.
Right.
Is like, oh, I could run into him on the street and it wouldn't be a big deal.
Right.
Mhm.
And I don't
Yeah.
even react like energetically, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
time was definitely part of that. We didn't even speak for about like 6 months, not even
Mhm.
intentionally, but like after we physically separated completely, we didn't speak for about 6 months.
I think that's so
Yes.
healthy. We're all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind
I
of
will listen
was
to one of
my
your
Yeah.
episodes.
ideology.
Yeah, I listened to one of your episodes. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was a thing. But looking back, I see so much
Huh.
how it served
Yeah.
both of us for sure.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's amazing. And it all just happened naturally for
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to say about how, like, what was kind of the final sign to you?
Yes. There was this time when I look back at it, it was just it was so heartbreaking. Like if I saw my sister or my best friend or anyone I cared about in that, I'd be like, you need to change something because it was so sad. I was like sleeping on the couch every other night because I just couldn't be in his field, in his
Mhm.
energetic field anymore.
Yeah.
But there was a time where I just was like, this is not normal to feel so deeply lonely in a relationship and so deeply saddened, even though you're like married to this handsome guy that I thought this was going to be it, and then it's
Yeah.
not. And then it was like I was in that state for like a solid couple of months, and that's when I was like, I need to change this. That's when I experimented with like, let me work on changing the relationship and see if that shifts how I feel, and it did. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it was a lot of things that I felt like he was putting himself first in a lot of ways, like big decisions. He wanted to
Mhm.
go back to school, but he didn't discuss it with me first, which I thought was
Mhm.
really interesting because like financially that affects us, time that affects us, all those things. And so and then I think it was around the same time though, that it was just like the lowest low. He decided to go back home to Brazil without me for like 4 weeks. And he did it during a time of work that I could not go. Like, and we actually
Yeah.
had talked about going the following summer. So I was really confused by the timing. And he
Yeah.
told his family that, yes, we're coming. And I would have lost my job if I had gone. Like it was that big of
Yeah.
a divide. But so that was all happening at the same time. But the giving and receiving input output was completely off. And that's why I was feeling that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's like we are whole, complete individuals within a
Yes.
relationship, but especially if you're married, things do need to be a discussion, you know, even if that discussion is like, this is really, really important to me, and like, I don't know how I could not do it, but you still have to
Right.
have the
Let's
conversation.
talk about it. Agree. And
Yeah.
that's some kind of agreement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
also think there's something in a lot of women, maybe it's society, that makes us kind of want to continually be sought after by our partner.
I think
And
it's very feminine. We
Mhm.
want to
Yeah.
be acknowledged and seen, and men want to feel needed. It's in my experience. That's what I've
Yeah,
experienced.
same.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And whether that's conditioning or whatever, you
Right.
know, that's just often the facts of it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I think, you know, I think our listeners can, if you're going through a breakup, like, look back at the relationship and be like, okay, was it even like,
Yeah.
were there these kind of red flags of someone putting themselves first and being like, we have to do this for me, like, you know, because those, I think, will help you gain that closure, because
Yeah, I
it's
feel
so
like,
easy to just remember the good stuff.
oh, it's so easy. And I'm such a positive person that that's where I get myself in a lot of trouble, is romanticizing the past. But one thing that I would I would encourage listeners to ask themselves is, where do you feel like you really compromised your values? And that's where you can see if it was a red flag or not, or even now, currently, am I sacrificing a core value of mine? Then it's probably not the best match for you. And there's so many matches out there, you know.
Yes,
You
we're
don't have to
fans
get
of
to
that as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this brings up a good point about the happy thoughts. And actually, someone just DM'd me this morning, and her exact question was, why do I only think about the happy thoughts? And so is this one way that you've dealt with that? Is by asking yourself this question?
Yeah, I think it's helped me because you know, you want to be positive, you want to look at the good, and I still hold on to a lot of mostly when I look back, it's positive, you know, and I reminisce. I'm like, oh my gosh, I loved it when we lived in that cabin in the woods and we had our little family with my dog. But at the same time, it's a good way to check yourself and just remind yourself that, like, that time was so meant to be, and there will be a new time that's meant to be. And but it's important to check in and say, why didn't it work? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like having that little list of like, it was this and this and this.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're really struggling with that, it can help to even just write that down, keep it in the notes in your phone. So when you're like, oh, what have I done? You can look and be like, oh yeah, because of this and this and this.
That is such a good tool. I did that a couple times, and I found some journal entries that were, for some reason, I ripped them out of my journal. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't want them energetically spewing out some of the other stuff. I don't know. That's probably not a thing. But I ripped them out, and I found them recently, and it was like all the reason, like, it was a moment in time where I was feeling so dark and lonely in the relationship. And I found it and read it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, what great validation. So that's a good idea. When you're not feeling good, journal about it, have record of how you're feeling in the moment.
Yeah, because it's hard to remember.
Absolutely.
Sometimes. Yeah. Because we're in the moment.
Remember, but don't dwell on it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't dwell on it. But yeah, I like to think of it kind of like a TV show. It's like, yeah, that was your favorite TV show, but like, you don't want to rewatch the same episodes over and over and over again. And, you know, the plot kind of petered out, and that was it. And it was what it was. And now you're watching a new show. That's awesome.
I love that. I love that.
Well, other than journaling, is there anything else that you want to share about how you like either healed or got through this? I mean, divorce is a massive life transition. You seem like you went, like you dealt with it so well, but I'm sure that it took a lot of effort as well.
Oh,
or maybe not. You tell us.
It did. There were many nights where I like was bawling and crying and getting through those emotions and really being with them. But I was thinking about, before I got on the call, I was like, what did I do? And so my way of handling things is I process alone, usually. But I come out and get the emotional support from family every once in a while and ask them, you know, or friends, like, hey, did I do the right thing? Can you help me process through this? But as soon as something makes sense in my head, then usually the emotions follow, I've noticed. And so if I make sense of why something was going on, then I can kind of adapt. So that's helped, but voice journaling has been really helpful because I don't always like to sit down and write. Sometimes I find it very tedious.
Do you
Yeah,
mind saying
that's
a little bit
amazing.
more about voice journaling?
Yeah, so I have a little recorder app on my phone. Everyone probably does, to some extent, or you can get a little, like you can feel like Harriet the Spy and get like a little recorder
Yeah.
yourself. Why
I'm
not?
guessing most people listening
Yeah.
have that capability.
And literally you just talk. You talk like you're talking to your friend. And for me, you know, sometimes I'm quite spiritual. So if I'm talking to my higher self or whatever, but it really helped me process things and get to different conclusions while saying it out loud. And one thing I struggle with is speaking my truth. So that was another practice of this is how I feel, you know, and almost every time I would have an aha moment and it would make me feel better. And I mean, most of them I never listened to again, but sometimes I would to help remind me, you know. But gosh, I also was seeing like an energetic healer, you know, pretty consistently. I would talk when I really needed to with friends and family. But yeah, I think my alone time was my number one friend during that time.
Yeah.
And I
And
guess
did you know of human design at this time? Were you studying it
No,
already?
and I wish I had. I've said that before. So human design, I heard about it a couple years ago, and something that I didn't realize at the time, I probably would have gotten into it earlier. So I'm like letting people know if this is new. It's so easy to find out what your type is. Like it's like a map, you know, you enter your birthday time of, you know, it's like finding your astrology stuff. So
Yeah.
so just so you know, if you're like, I don't know how to do that, then it's so easy. That's what prevented me from looking into it for so long.
because you didn't know.
I didn't know how difficult. Yeah. Like I was like, what is it? A
Yeah, you're like, there's so many lines and
yeah,
like colors.
and it was so easy to find out what it was. So, but I was told about it like a couple years ago, but then I didn't start getting into it like maybe a year and a half ago. And that's when I looked at my ex's chart next to mine. And I'm a manifester, which has a very repelling kind of go-getter energy. And he's a generator, which is kind of like the battery, like the type of people that have that endless supply of energy that can go, go, go. Oh, awesome.
I'm a generator.
Yeah, sometimes she's working at like starting to work when it's night. And I'm like, you're starting now?
And that's what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to get themselves really nice and tired before bed. And me being in a relationship with a generator, they could view me as being lazy, but really I was just waiting for the opportunity to burst out my energy because it's a sprint, not a marathon for manifestors. And so that was really helpful for me to be like, oh, that's why I would like, and that kind of is personal stuff too, like personal triggers, but like he would get up so early in the morning, work. And I'd be like, oh gosh, should I be doing that too? And it was like, no, you shouldn't, you know, it's all good. So
before we segue too much, Kristina, do you think that you could just provide everyone just a nutshell as far as what human design is?
Yes, I think I can. So I'll give it a shot. Okay, so human design is the theory that there are 5 different types of human energy types on the earth. So there's the manifestor, which is about 8 to 10% of society. There's the reflector, which is 1% of the society. There's generators, which are 33%. And then manifesting generators, which are the hybrids of kind of they're kind of coupled together, but those are also 33. And then projectors are 20%. And so what happens is most of the world is based off of the generator momentum, which is go, 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 work, 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 build, build, build. And so it's really great for building things, but there can be for people that don't have like projectors, manifestors, and reflectors don't have the sacral defined, which just means that you don't have endless energy. And so when you don't have that, you can burn out very quickly. And as a generator world, you know, I was taught that you have to work like that and you have to be this way. And I felt so wrong for like how I was when really that's just how I'm designed. But so to put it into like perspective, this analogy was told recently and it makes sense. But so, picture a pyramid. Our friend, Janice and I had a friend that did this. So a pyramid, let's say someone has an idea and like, hey, I want to build this crazy thing. It's called a pyramid. This is how I see it happening. That's a manifestor initiating something and starting something. We're the starters. And we also initiate others into action too. Like I can be in people's energy or in their life and they can start doing things that they really want to be doing, which I've seen throughout my life, which is pretty cool. And then the projector is there to like look at, listen to the manifestor and be like, okay, I could see that working, but we got to consider this, will this really work? The yes to this, no to this, kind of as like the guide. And the reflector is kind of the one that's up on the hill watching everything happen and make sure everything's going well. And then the generators and manifesting generators are the ones that get to ask themselves, do I want to build this with them? And if they get that internal yes, then they do it. And if they get that internal no, then they shouldn't. And they have the energy to actually build it. Because without it, it's just all ideas.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the idea behind human design, and that we are all meant to work together in a very beautiful way, but we are very different, and to honor those differences and to honor our strengths as well. So it's been helpful for me, for sure.
Yeah. So, there's lots of different ways that we categorize ourselves and define ourselves in this society, whether it be, for instance, Myers-Briggs, which used to be my thing, different personality types and work styles and genius styles.
Yeah.
So what was
astrology?
Yeah, exactly.
And I love astrology too. Yeah.
Okay. So what was it about human design that you thought, this is my thing?
That's a good question. I think it all comes back to resonance, right? It's like whatever works for you, whatever kind of personality typing or astrology. If it feels like it's right, then that's what you should go for. Yeah. But I'd say it was like one of those things where when I was learning about the manifestor and how other people react to me energetically, that's when I was like, oh, it just made so much sense as to why I felt different for all of my life, and to be able to have like permission to truly be that person that is different from everyone else and to do whatever I want to do. Like, that's all I want. Like as a manifestor, it's like, I just want to go out and initiate things, but whatever I feel like. And for some reason I felt like that was wrong because I didn't have a plan, or I didn't have, I would jump from project to project, and that isn't considered like focused or sought after in the general world. So I think it was just like things about the types just made so much sense in me. And then I started pulling charts of other people in my family, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so true. It hits so many points, and it's helped me function. Like my sister's a projector, and it's helped me see her in her light a little bit differently. So I think I was just really drawn to finding the evidence. I found so much evidence of it being true. That's why I was like, I could get on this.
Yeah. And since you saw all that evidence, you're now like using it in dating.
Yes. Yeah. Which has been so helpful. It's kind of, in a way, I think astrology is really helpful that way too. Like knowing, someone's sign or whatever, but I think people get really stuck on the surface level of anything, including human design. We're not just a type. We have a lot of tendencies, a lot of channels. Yeah. But I find it fascinating, and it's helped me explain myself, because something that manifestors really need is alone time and space to kind of feel out what they want to do. And so it's helped me to say, hey, just so you know, like I function differently energetically, and I actually really need alone time. Like it's necessary, and for them to be like, okay, cool. And they can respond. So most of the people I've dated, I would say, are generators. And so they can respond to that, like, oh, is that something that you're cool with or not? So it's been helpful to communicate my needs using the language of provided by human design.
Yeah. No, that's so huge.
Yeah, it's been helpful. And then knowing like, a guy I'm dating right now, he's a generator, and he does do what, like, kind of what Janice was saying about you, like works until the night, has like, after work, they have live streams and this and that. I'm like, gosh, how do you do that? And then, but I can accept that about him and be like, oh, that's really cool that you can do that, instead of feeling like, ooh, I'm not doing enough.
Yeah, exactly. What other people do doesn't it doesn't have any reflection on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
human design
That was
helps me
something I
realize
learned
that.
about my type. I'm a projector, and I always used to kind of beat myself up for not working longer hours,
Yep.
because I would always have this story of, if I really wanted it, I would work later into the night, I would keep going, where my body was like, please don't,
Yeah, you
And
cannot do that.
so
Yeah.
I've now found that, that's okay. And just because that might work for some people, that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that that's the key to everyone's success.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think, not to say that generators literally won't run out of energy, because I
They do.
definitely do. And I think the important, I mean, I'm not the expert in this, but I know for generators, it's about recognizing opportunities and saying yes or no. And
Absolutely.
that was really important to me, because I was in the mindset of I have to say yes to everything.
Because
Because I'm like, I see all the opportunities, I see everything, but you have to say no to some of them. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And you have an inner guidance system. It's we're supposed to also ask generators yes or no questions. So in relationships, I've been trying to do that. Like, do you want to go out to dinner tonight? Yes or no. And then I have to say, do you want to go to this place? And it's yes or no.
Yeah, that would be
Like,
helpful.
yeah, because
Yeah.
that's how you guys can make decisions so much easier and
Yeah.
faster.
Oh
And
my
you
gosh.
only have endless energy if you're using it in a way that lights you up.
Oh, I
Ew,
like
crucial,
that.
crucial.
Yes.
Yeah, I have zero energy for things I am not excited about.
Oh my God. So this is not
Um,
about Kristina, but Claire, remember the other night when you were getting burnt out
yeah,
because you were doing can I say a writing job?
yeah,
Yeah. Whereas
yeah.
I know
'Cause
that sometimes you edit our podcast at night, and you probably don't feel the same way as feeling
no,
burnt out when you were
yeah,
doing.
yeah. It's all about being lit up about certain things. And I mean, there's so many lenses to look through. Like there's sleep chronotypes, for instance.
I've never heard of that.
Oh my God, look up chronotypes.
Chronotype.
Some
Okay.
of it's kind of like, oh, really? Like they're named after animals, so it's kind of like, is this real? But literally, I have to tell you, I'm a bear, so like I can stay up till like 11 and get up at 7. But they also have like the times that you're most creative. And for me, there's actually like a window 6 to 8 p.m. called brainstorm, where all of my ideas come in. And I'm like, that's why I can't stop at 5, because I have all my best ideas like right after that.
I wonder if I'm similar, because I feel the same way. That's my favorite time of day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, look up chronotypes. But yeah, I think it's about just seeing what resonates with you with each of these like analysis type things. If you're like, oh, like I don't resonate with astrology, then don't. Like no one is forcing you to, but I think it's kind of like the truth can set you free. It's like if you resonate with a description of yourself, it helps you like be like, okay, it's okay that I am the way that I am.
It helps you own it.
Yeah,
Make
exactly.
it
Own it.
permission. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Or
did you go ahead?
no, I just said for sure.
Oh,
For
for
sure.
sure. How did you know that you were ready to start dating? Because to me, I didn't know that you had been separated for over a year. It just seemed that you were telling us that you were getting divorced, and kind of quickly you were out there.
Yeah.
But I think maybe,
Oh, yeah.
am I wrong about
Yeah.
that?
No, I mean, it's been something, well, it was quickly in terms of like, as soon as it was finalized, I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Yeah. Because I was like, because we hadn't, been together in a relationship in over a year, like we were separated and, that sort of thing. But one thing that I realized, so dating right away was really difficult. I thought it was going to be easy, and it was very challenging. And it was actually extremely off-putting, and I had a lot of negative experiences, but it was a time that I could check in with myself and say, well, what am I doing that's creating these scenarios? And so something I realized recently during a journaling was that I was putting a lot of pressure for these new relationships to succeed, because that means that validates that the ending of my marriage was correct.
Oh, so true.
It was like, So I put all this, you know, this this energetic tie to these people that weren't right for me. But when they didn't work out, it like cut me deeper than it really should. Cause it's like, you know, you're dating for a month or something and something would go wrong. And it would just like destroy me, not destroy me, but it would just hurt me so badly. But I realized I was just trying to like band-aid my way through the healing process. And if I have a new successful relationship, then that means I was right about ending the other one.
Oh my God. That's so true. Yeah.
You know, so I took a break after, you know, so I dated for a minute, took a little break, recalibrated, figured out, oh, I actually, this book that I did, it was a workbook called Calling in the One.
Tell us
What's
about
her name?
it.
Yeah, I can't remember. So she does unconscious or conscious uncoupling. Unconscious, oops.
I was like,
Uncoupling.
unconscious uncoupling.
Yes, I'm very familiar with Calling in the One.
Yeah. Oh, you were. Have you done it before?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Like when I first got divorced. So it's, you know, it's been several moments.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear your experience.
I loved it because, so, you know, it's kind of, when you read the title, it's like finding your love in like 7 weeks. And I'm like, I don't really need a timeline around it, but I was like, I'll try this. But one thing I loved was that it was so much not about the person, and it was so much about what your relationship with yourself, and where are you at with so many things, and what do you really want? Like, let's investigate your values, your this, your that. And so that was like huge for me, because I shifted into, this person is going to come in and fit my mold. Instead, I'm like, oh, I'm my own whole mold, and this person could be an add-on. And so it helped me a ton. Yeah. See it that way. And it was funny because like the whole time, you know, I was like, well, when am I going to write my like list, you know, of like who I'm going to manifest and what qualities they have. And it wasn't until the very end. By that point, I was like, I don't really care.
I love that. Cause I'm not, I mean, I don't consider finding the one the end game. And so I love that was your experience with that. Yes.
Yeah, so the same way. Finding the one is about finding yourself.
Yes.
So that's what I got from that. And so from there, it's like I look at relationships differently. Like I look at it like a plus. Like if you want to be an add-on to my life, awesome. But one thing, it's not a bad thing, I wouldn't say, but I am so protective of my time now, you know, and because I enjoy my own company, I'm like, gosh, like getting in a relationship is almost like, do I have time for that?
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Which feels so much more natural than I thought it would.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause you do matter, and it's your life, and you're the only one who's really going to be there from start to finish. And who really actually understands you. Like other people can try and they can accept you as you are, but there's never going to be that perfect meshing that we've been sold in pop culture.
Sometimes I'll catch myself thinking like having that romantic, you know, the hopeless romantic side of things. And one thing, because I'm also into astrology, but one of the readings I had was, he's like, you have so much love that you do not need love from a partner. Like, and that goes from everyone, you know, he's like, get that off the table. You don't need that person. You could have like a teammate that he's like, that works. But he's like, you don't need it. I was like, oh, you know, it's like, so in a way, I almost feel like I'm like mourning the loss of like the ideal like fantasy that we've been given, but then restructuring into something that really is like a lifelong friendship with somebody.
Yeah. What, I'm curious, are you okay with sharing your astrology like sign?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Are you wondering what my sign is and stuff? Yeah. So I'm a Pisces. My moon is in Aquarius, and my rising's Capricorn.
Okay.
What are you?
I'm Gemini sun, Pisces moon, and Aquarius rising.
Oh wow.
So
we actually have some
I'm
similarities.
a huge dork, basically, with a tender heart.
It's so, I feel so similar.
But that's so cool because my boyfriend, I think he's this almost the same as you. He's Pisces sun, Pisces moon, Aquarius rising. So he's kind of similar.
Yeah, I find it's hard to have I think not hard. I feel like watery moons are difficult to navigate. Like I don't have one, but I dated people with watery moons, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys feel things so deeply. The guy I'm dating now, he has an Aries sun and a Pisces moon, which is so contradictory, but it's just like, oh, you guys just feel things so intensely. You know?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, but it's been helpful for me to know that like having an Aquarius moon, I need to think about my emotions. And so, yeah. And so I'm like, I use that to incorporate into like going through breakups and things like that.
Can you maybe speak to like a example of how you've used either astrology or human design?
For sure. So I'm thinking, so like kind of going back to like how I process things. So let's say I'm going through a really tough time with a situation with a partner. I do not reach out to people. I retract and go by myself, and I think, and I'll either voice journal or physically journal, and I have to just process all the thoughts that are coming up. And that's very Aquarius like, just to think about things, make sense of things. And then I'm trying to think for the manifestor type is also very solidary too. So I think by using kind of the tendencies of the types and just like giving myself permission to be like that has helped. I'm trying to remember. I'm like kind of like I'm bad at recalling certain experiences.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you ask people for their human design type or sign?
Oh yeah. Like
you're like, what time were you born?
How does that work?
It's so funny. Well, because it cracks me up. So like I was doing online dating for a while, and I would literally ask them, if we were like hitting it off via like communication, I'd be like, hey, weird question, but I would love to know your birth time and your birth and like it made me laugh though, because of like, if they're gonna date me, I'm like that, I'm into things like that, so they should be accepting of that. And if
they're
not,
weirded out, it's not your person.
Exactly, then they can go on their way. And honestly though, I've never had a negative like, oh, that's really weird. It was always like, oh really, that's so interesting, tell me more. But 100% I do that.
Yeah. And people want to know more about themselves too. People like talking about themselves. So if you start being like, oh, you're this, like, tell me about that. They're like, cool. She's asking me about me.
That's true. Yeah. And it is a way that I try to understand people.
Yeah.
And so it's helpful that way. Like I see where you're coming from, Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's awesome. I'm glad you haven't had like a weird, like bad experience with it, but
not in that way.
Yeah.
I've been, I've had negative experiences in other ways, but
Oh,
hey, it's called date. I mean, it's dating.
Yeah. Dating is, it's a little wacky sometimes.
It is. It's hard to navigate. And I feel like it's so, I don't know, counterintuitive to how I function, which is like with meaning and purposefulness, and like online dating, I think is a huge, that's just my opinion, but I think it's not serving us in a lot of ways. And so
that's so interesting that you're in fact, we could do an episode just on the pros and cons and 100%. Downfalls and pitfalls. So
and the psychology
meeting someone this way.
Yeah. I think it's kind of.
So did you move away from that?
I did, but I mean, I met the guy I'm dating on a dating site, so it's like,
well, it's hard right now when you're not going.
I know.
Out.
It's so true. Yeah. Like right now, it's like the social aspect isn't there, so that's how I prefer to meet my partner for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I mean, there's like so much about people that you can absorb in real life, just like, I don't know, just like the way they move and carry themselves, that can be so much more attractive. And there's like someone can be very attractive to me and I would never like swipe right. Is it right?
100%.
On them on a dating app, because just like in a picture, you just don't get like their essence, So
and we both have Piscean tendencies. We see the beauty in people in different ways. And so swiping right and swiping left is not how we're meant to experience love,
Yeah.
But
hey, pandemics.
Hey, and the guy I'm dating now, he's a great fit for right now. And I feel really grateful that he's in my space. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a very good way to look at it.
Yeah.
That this is good for
Right now.
good for now. This
It is good for now. I think that I can't remember if it was in that book. No, it was an Esther Hicks thing. She talks about relationships in such a unique way. It's like really unattached, And so I love that she was saying something like, every day you ask yourself, do I want to be in this relationship or not? And it's like, yes or no, because there's always going to be another person that matches your vibration. It's like,
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be so. I think we put so much emphasis on breaking up and I don't know, letting someone go. And it's like, really, it doesn't have to be so personal, even though it's a personal experience, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
I guess it is personal, but it doesn't have to, I don't know. We don't have to put so much hype around it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a life transition that everyone goes through multiple times. It's a part of life.
Yeah. Unless you're just one of those people that met their high school sweetheart and then like that was it, period. But
and I think that happens sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure living where you live, I know plenty of people over there who are, 20 years in and probably gonna stay that way, which is totally fine. They all seem happy, but a lot of people will go through multiple breakups in their life.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt though.
No.
Yeah, it definitely hurts because it's like we've got that human need for like certainty. And that's why I think we have like marriage and lifetime commitments and things like that, because we do need, in some respect, certainty. But we also need variety. That's another need. And we need love. And, if the love is not in that relationship, then you need to sacrifice your certainty for a certain amount of time in order to like find that love somewhere else. So it's just like balancing these needs. So something that's good and serving you in some respects is going to hurt. It doesn't mean it's not the right thing.
That's so true. We are striving for certainty and there is no certainty. That's a really good point.
Certainty.
Because it's like,
false.
I want the certainty that my partner will never cheat on me, but it's like, but the more freedom you give, ironically, will probably like less likelihood to cheat or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. The more you try to control it, the more it's going to be like,
yeah, for sure. For sure.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much. Do you have any, tips for someone who's newly divorced and wants to use some of these tools as they move forward in such a positive way as you have?
Yeah. The first thing that's coming up is like when I was going through my divorce and everything, I did not feel great about myself all the time. So I made a point to do things that made me feel like a badass. so make yourself feel like a total badass and you will feel confident. Like it can look different for everyone, obviously, but hiking for me and getting to a top of a peak or a mountain, it doesn't have to be huge, but that makes me feel really cool, or if I go camping by myself, it makes me feel empowered and cool. And so I do a lot more of that. So make sure that you are making yourself feel like a badass because you are, maybe it's reading a book, or whatever.
I think it's really cool. And actually, I love camping. I've never camped alone.
It's a little unnerving, especially because I like to go camping off the grid. So like no cell phone service and stuff.
I hope you tell people where you're going.
One of those GPS trackers.
One of the what? Sorry.
They have like GPS tracker, like satellite.
I should have one of those things. And I
don't. Where you're gonna be like, help, press the button.
I know.
Find me.
I've definitely been a little unnerved in certain situations, but like I'll tell people where I'm going generally, but there's really a lot of times where they wouldn't be able to find me.
Like, I don't know if I should support this or not.
Yeah. Well, so be safe, but do things that make you feel really brave, I would say. Like brave within limits, right? Because I was always safe about things, but just be just like know your own power, I think, and experiment with that in the ways that you feel good to you.
Yeah, I think that's why we have so many stories of like eat, pray, love, where it's like, I went alone off into the world and I did my thing. And like, I think you find yourself and your power when you when you break free of like your routine and you tap back into that like kind of more primeval side of
Yeah.
you.
And you're doing it alone. And especially when you're coming from a long-term relationship, you're used to doing things with your partner. So it's important, you know, if it's take yourself out to lunch or something small like that, do that first, because you want to develop. So the biggest advice I would give is build a relationship with yourself, because if you do, you're going to attract a more aligned person.
Yeah.
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 And then you'll be
Exactly.
happy regardless on if they come in or not.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so true, because I mean, otherwise you're just bringing in random people from everywhere and you're like, "Do you fit?" I don't know, don't feel good about it, and you just bring in some you're
Yeah,
scattered
exactly.
in your
Yeah.
search,
And I
but
feel like that's what, like, you know, I don't want to get into it again a little, but I think that's what online dating does. It's
yeah.
scattered, and
Yeah.
less intentional.
And it can work.
It can,
You can hit the jackpot.
for sure. For
Totally.
sure.
People do
But it's like
all the time,
gambling.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So, that's so cool. Well, do you have any like words of wisdom or just like inspirational advice, or just, just I
Yeah.
know when we were talking earlier, you were saying, everything is temporary.
Yes. Yeah. So one thing that I've realized is that by making more room in my life, by editing out my marriage, I've been able to live life the way that I truly want. And I can wake up every day and say, what do I want? You know, and I want
Yeah.
that for everybody. And to be able to act on that. So I created so much freedom within my life by listening to the voice of, this might not be right for you, you know. And I think another thing that I've done this year is, like, I started a business, which is like something that I never would have done. But I think it started with the choice to choose myself first. And that if you start there, you're going to end up having this life that you look around, you're like, this is how I get to live my life. Are you kidding me? This is so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I get to go on this podcast, I get to do this art project, I get to do this. And that's how my life looks right now. It's like, I have so much freedom to do whatever I feel like doing. And from there, I can make such a better impact, or a positive impact, on my people in my life, on the world. And so just keep in mind that everything is temporary, you know, both happiness and sadness, and that you can get through any moment as long as you put yourself first. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
perfect. And I
So
completely
good.
agree. I'm so happy for you and impressed by how you, I guess, bounced back from this, or how you committed to experiencing something like divorce.
Thank
It's
you. I appreciate that. I
very,
mean, yeah, it can seem easy, but there were many dark nights that I really had to sit with. So,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't like, oh, I'm over it and now I'm dating. It was like so many nights by myself that I really wasn't sure what to do. But just
Yeah.
being present with those moments and knowing that it's temporary is all
Yeah.
good. It makes it way easier.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You're not doing anything wrong if it's hard. It
Yeah.
should be hard.
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
If it's not, then you were
Yeah.
not with the right person.
Or you know, you're not
Yeah.
learning anything. I feel like I learned so much, and I think that's what I hold on to, is I learned so much about myself and everything through that experience. So even if it was considered a negative experience, I still got so much positivity from it.
Mhm. Oh, so good. I'm so glad you came on the
Thank you
show
so
to
much.
yes,
talk. I
thank
think
you so much. I'm glad we
Yeah.
invited you, and that was, yeah, beautiful. I think this is a lot for people to gain and learn from.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. This is my first interview ever. So
Oh my God, you are a total pro.
Yeah.
You're totally amazing.
well, thank you so much.
Yeah. If you ever start a podcast, then we'd love to come
Well, it's funny,
because you're
yeah,
totally.
yeah, I
Yeah.
do. I'm part of another one, but it's about human design. So we'll talk.
Awesome. Oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, if anyone has any human design questions,
Yeah.
go to Kristina. We're linking your stuff
Sounds
below.
great.
So
Yeah, I know there's a lot of questions, especially when you're first finding out. It's a lot to take in.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Kristina. And thank you so much to everyone who listened in today and who has been listening. We are just loving our I don't know if I can use the word fan yet, but we're loving
Our
our
friends.
listeners, our friends. Yeah, we're starting to hear from people. That's very exciting for us.
Mhm.
And yes, thank you, Kristina. Beautiful work on, learning from everything that you've experienced the past year and a half, 2 years.
Well, thank you for having conversations like that, like this, and creating the space, because that's where a lot of healing happens. And
Yeah.
so thank you for creating the platform.
That's what we're hoping.
For
All
sure.
right, we'll see everyone next time.
Thanks for listening to X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
If you liked this episode, tag us on your Instagram story so we can connect with you.
And you can find me, Claire, on Instagram at Claire Lofthouse.
And me, Janice, on Instagram at Janice Formicella. If you'd like to join our online community, find us on Facebook at Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On. Talk soon.
Bye! And here's a preview of our next episode. And one of the fears that women have shared with me the most is that they don't want to get over their ex because what if they come back? I just want to take a moment and remind you that if he or she does come back, you can fall back in love with someone that you are meant to be with. If you know that once you are over him, you will not be able to fall back in love with him should he come crawling back, that is a sign.
Yeah, you just want to hang on to this just in case.
Yeah, just in
And
case.
it just does not serve your
Yeah.
higher good or your healing journey. And there's nothing sexier than doing you. So I like this as our first commandment.